Very good morning, everyone. Charles here of FRGNT Daily Chart Analysis. The time is just approaching 20 minutes to 10 local time here in Milan. Unfortunately, this may not be the standard type of educational video. However, I most certainly will address a couple of important points in our profession, of which is currency trading. Now, the first thing I'll bring your attention to is a beautiful comment that I have just received, and it does raise for a bit of investigation. So that's what I shall do, as I'm simply waiting for a couple of positions setup wise, a couple of alerts to go off. So I figured, let's address it. So, not to single anybody out in particular, but this comment: please explain your charts better with text. So that's fair to say. Then we'll praise you. That's also a fair comment, but that, to me, raises a couple of elements I think we need to go into. So please explain your charts better with text. Of course, I shan't be defensive about it. Of course, a picture paints 1,000 words, but we also must understand that we are trading currencies. I am trading candlesticks. Therefore, when my candlesticks print on screen, they unfortunately do not print with text alongside it. However, it is down to me to use my technical ability to decipher what is going on. Now, my question to those of you that require text in order to break down data on your screen, which more often than not should be enough for you to come to a decent enough bias in trading, is if you require text, then perhaps you may want to take a leaf out of my book and start understanding technicals a little bit more. Something that I very much so pride myself on is my technical ability, and that is better illustrated here by much of my chart breakdowns that, unfortunately, for you in particular, does not include text. Now, the importance of posting my charts, unfortunately, it isn't for praise. First and foremost, posting my charts, believe it or not, is for myself. This allows me to stay accountable. This allows me to remind myself of my bias. Therefore, when I am taking a position, I recognize that when I do my daily chart analysis in the morning, in a quiet room with no builders harassing my ears or my brain, that I am most certainly trading or analyzing the charts in the best state of mind. Therefore, without distraction, all I have is charts, no noise in the office, no noise in the household, and I am simply reading price action to the best of my abilities based on my technical analysis. Therefore, once I'm then going to execute a position, I recognize that I am executing that position based upon the technicals that were planned, and in order to have that certainty that it was planned, they're also posted. So as a side effect for myself, you also could gain a slight degree of benefit. And therefore, in addition to that, once I do take a trade alongside my prior analysis, I simply copy the link. I place the link into my trading journal. This is what happened before. This is what happened current. And hopefully so, this is what happened after. More often than not, should be a take profit position, or a break even, or even a loss. Regardless, the trade is planned, it is posted, and I hold myself accountable for it, and it is placed in my trading journal. Now, here lies a second element of, let's say, the comment itself, that unfortunately your technical ability lately in trading isn't really praised. What we are praised on is fluffy pictures, fluffy colors, unique selling techniques, all of which that I don't particularly poise, all of which doesn't actually appeal to me whatsoever. I practically run a faceless community. Those within my community pretty much have no idea who I am, where I reside, what I do as a profession, outside of trading, more importantly, or even in addition, who I am. But those of you within the trading community, or those of you that pay careful attention to my charts, recognize that the technical ability that I post, the technical ability that I describe, and the technicals that I showcase is much more important than receiving praise, in my opinion. And for me, in my opinion, that is what sets me out slightly different to other traders on the platform that potentially are here for praise. That is something that I most certainly am not here for. So, in terms of the comment that I've received, unfortunately, I will not be adding additional text to my charts. For those of you that do wish to understand technicals, then that will be down to you to take a deeper dive into yourself and have a look around to try and be able to understand technicals better, so you don't need to rely on text. In addition to that, I cannot deposit praise into my bank account, nor can I withdraw profits based on praise. What is most important in the game of trading is the financial aspects of that. And that is something that we have to remember. We cannot cash praise, we cannot deposit praise, and most certainly my trading account and percentage return is not going to be based upon praise. So most certainly make no mistake that I am not on TradingView, as I laugh, to receive praise. It is just not something that I am interested in whatsoever. In addition to the comment, I think it'd be quite important to address it. If you're someone like myself, that you are trading and you're actively posting your trades and you're not getting the validation that you feel that you deserve, then don't be disheartened. Trading is about making money, and if you're able to post your charts, remain accountable for that, just remind yourself that you are not to be judged by the amount of likes that you get on a post. Let's say, for good example, I am posting every day in a consistent method. You will find complete unison across all of my chart analysis, whether that be the DXY as an index, whether that be GU, whether that be any particular position, even in terms of breakdowns that I provide, you will find complete unison across them. Therefore, in terms of understanding whether or not you should pay careful attention to person A, who gets 500 likes on a post because it includes lots of textual data, lots of breakdowns, lots of fluff based upon this, that, and the other, or person B that simply posts consistency in terms of their trading strategy, in terms of results once those positions have either gone into profit, break even, or even a stop loss. That person's remaining accountable and placing those for view. I would know what type of individual that I would like to pay close attention to. Someone like myself, for example, that continues to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. We must remind ourselves, and we must remember that trading is a game of consistency. It isn't a game about who can develop the most amount of traction and the most amount of likes upon their posts. It's about posting the skill set. It's about posting consistency. It's about showcasing your level of discipline when you are trading in the markets. Now, let's go back to the charts for the day. You will see that my charts do not include much text at all. And unfortunately, as I've said, my charts will not start to develop text. Although I have gone on to mines in previous instances, and I have seen those posts that do get a tremendous amount of likes based on the fact that they're explaining text. And that's obviously gauged towards the beginner. My posts most certainly are not gauged towards the beginner. My trades are posted, my analysis is posted towards advanced level traders that just wish to understand the directional bias of the day ahead. That is what I'm here for, as well as myself. So therefore, in conclusion, thank you very much for your comment, you very kind individual. Praise most certainly is not coming my way anytime soon. My investors do not praise me based upon the text that I include on my charts. My bank balance doesn't praise me based on the text that I place out for those of you to view. But for those of you that do gain benefit from the chart analysis, I do appreciate your support. I really, really do. But again, I must be honest, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I must continue to trade in line with my strategy. I must continue in line with respecting my analysis that I put out, regardless of text or not. And as I wait for the DXY to make a couple of moves, perhaps I will place some text on my chart for those of you that require it. Or better still, perhaps maybe I won't. So that brings me on to the educational part of the video today. DXY, having a look to see if we do get a reaction. US dollar CAD, a little bit interested in taking a potential short based on DXY weakness if I do see it developing anytime soon. Well, that would be a snap below that area, perhaps a pullback into an area of interest for a slight short-term short on the DXY before anticipating that bullishness to step in for the rest of the day. GBP CAD, pound CAD, looking at potential longs, not really interested in the short as a result of not having too much text here up at the highs. Therefore, without text, who am I to understand what is price action looking to do? And then finally, US dollar JPY. You will see a little bit of text there. That, unfortunately, is for myself. Just to give myself that bit of a reminder that I do need to wait for confirmation at two areas on US dollar JPY, as I'm not going to be quite sure just yet based on the DXY whether or not by the time US dollar JPY gets to these areas, whether or not the pair will be ready to take along. Therefore, the text there is most certainly helping me out to understand that I need to wait for a level of confirmation before looking to take that position long. So, ladies and gents, thank you very much for your attention. As always, I do appreciate it. And to the comment, don't take it personal. It's just to address pretty much a good elephant in the room that sometimes you want to be paying careful attention to those that just omit that level of consistency and discipline, and not so much those type of traders that you wish to deliver them with praise. Until the next time, everyone, thank you very much for your time. Take care. Charles.